early in the morning, and this morning we're out pulling traps. Now, this is a little bit of a change compared to what we were originally going to do. We were originally going to let these traps sit another couple days, and then I have to go out of town for a couple days for some work. So I was going to pull those traps the day before I've got to go out of town. But we have a weather front that's rolling in later today, and it's going to start off with rain, and then as the temperature continues to drop, it's going to change to freezing rain and sleet, and then eventually it's going to switch over to snow. And in some areas, I think we're talking like an inch. In other areas, we're talking like 4 inches. They really don't know for sure. It's going to all be dependent upon, you know, how the storm makes its track through this part of the country. But regardless, pretty much worst possible conditions for trapping, where you're going to have, like, you know, a half a day of rain, and then it's going to get cold and start freezing up, and everything's going to change to freezing rain and sleet. Even if your trap itself is not frozen, you're using antifreeze or whatever to keep your trap from freezing. When you get that crust of sleet and freezing rain on top, and then it turns to ice, the animal's not going to even be able to step on your trap because there's going to be that barrier between it. And then you're going to add 1 to 5 inches of snow on top of that. Just did not seem like a good idea to let these traps sit for another couple days. I'm not going to probably catch anything. Those critters are going to hunker down when that rain and freezing rain and sleet starts, and then I'm going to have to deal with, you know, the traps not working properly. Not to mention, then I've got to drive in all that. I got to drive in the sleet, drive in the freezing rain. The roads will be a mess. Drive in the snow. It's just not worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull 2 days early, which means we're pulling traps today. So maybe we'll catch a critter or two this morning. With the front moving in, they'll be maybe active, and then we're going to pull some traps. So this is the third day in a row that this trap has been messed with. It's a flat set. We caught a fox here, and we caught a coyote here, if I remember correctly. And third day in a row it's been messed with. We're on this 2-track. We just caught another coyote down there, and then farther down we caught a big coon. And we're here around all these brambles and all this stuff. But this morning, the last 2 days, something has just come in here and just really messed it all up and tore it all up. But today they actually dug the trap out. You can see they were digging at the hole right there. They dug around over here, and they ultimately just dug this trap out. I'm gonna guess this is a coon. Have no idea, but there's no coyote tracks around here. Doesn't look like, I mean, there's not a ton of big giant diggings other than it just pulled that trap out of there. And they dig right here, which is where I had one of the punch holes at, and then they dug right there where I had one of the punch holes at. They did not dig right over there where I had the punch hole at, but it looks like probably a coon, just because this is what a coon does. Could have been something else. Could have been a coyote. Could have been a fox. Could have been, you know, I don't know. But probably a coon, just because they like to do this. They like to flip these traps out. They like to get down in that soft dirt and everything and get rid of those traps. But we're pulling traps today anyway. So we'll pull this thing and keep moving down the road. But a little frustrating that we missed something here 3 days in a row. It's just unfortunately part of it. That's why it's called trapping, not catching. Okay guys, trap pulling day. We're pulling traps today. Caught a coyote here in the past, and now caught another one. This is a younger one. But fur looks pretty good. Looks like a young male is what it looks like to me. Could be wrong. Big old deep pad catch in that MB. This critter's completely buried down in there. This was a dirt hole. We had caught a female here and then just put the trap right back in, and it's set for another, I don't know, it's been at least a couple, 3 days since we caught that last female here, but now we finally caught another one. So we're obviously gonna pull this trap because we're pulling out of here, but we'll deal with this coyote and pull this trap and keep getting down the line. All right, guys, we're still on the first part of the line. It's like the third trap of the day, and we caught a coyote up the road here, and now that we have a coon right here. This was a flat set right over there on that log, coming out of that big food plot up there, coming down this 2-track right on this corner where everything's kind of pinched in because of all the brush here. So it's kind of a pinch point, and we caught a cat here previously, and now we caught this big old coon. It's on a drag, so he just hung up right over here. Didn't make it 6 feet, but good sized coon. Looks like a big old boar, and he's probably out just looking for a mate, doing his thing. Everybody's running around because the front is coming in, so clearly the critters were moving last night ahead of the storm before they get hunkered down. Front foot catch. The trap that's up there at the food plot had it messed with again, and the bait was gone out of it. Something was basically down inside the hole. Not saying it was this coon, but probably a coon or a gray fox, because there really wasn't any tracks around there, and something had got down into my dirt hole and pulled the bait and stuff out. So we'll take care of this coon and we'll move down the road. All right, guys, another coyote here today. Where we are is we're on this intersection between these two tracks. This 2-track goes down into the bottom down there in that canyon, and then the road winds around that way, and it also winds, you can see on the top of that hill over there, it winds around over there. We've got some traps over there too, and then it goes down this fence line and continues to go that way, and then it goes into the big forest, and then it continues to go this way. And right up there at the top where you go through that little gate, we caught a bobcat up there. And here we have a little coyote. Doesn't look too bad of fur from what I can tell right here. Another deep pad catch in an MB. This coyote is typical Ozark coyote, darker, but you know, the landowner will be happy that we get this thing out of here. And I think it'll be okay to skin. We'll see when we handle it and get closer to it. But another good coyote, so we'll just keep rolling down the line. Okay, guys, so we're done pulling traps, and this is the last piece of property. This is my most favorite farm that I probably trap on. It's you've seen video footage of some of the views and all the creeks that the dogs are running around in, and the cave is on this piece of property, and this is the best piece of property as far as like most pretty, I should say, the most beautiful piece of property that I trap on. Did okay here though as well. We were here, I don't know, 8 days, maybe 8 check days, something like that. And we caught, these numbers are just, I have to look in my book to confirm them, but probably caught 4 or 5 coyotes. I know we caught 4 bobcats here, a couple gray fox that we released, and then maybe 3 or 4 coons. So we caught about 12 critters, 14 critters off of this farm, off of this one farm. in about 8 check days. So the farmer will be happy getting rid of 4 coyotes and 4 coons and some bobcats and all that kind of stuff. But most importantly, I just like trapping this place because it's so pretty. It's got the amazing views, and this is the way we get in, and the way we get out is we just come through this little gate, and then we can pull out on the highway. And then once we get in there, it's a big piece of property. It's, I don't even know, 700, 800, 900 acres, whatever it is, but it's a beautiful piece of property. So traps are pulled. We're ending the day. We're going home to skin now, and bad weather's coming, and then go to work for a couple days, and then next week we'll be back putting out some new properties.